welcome to the next episode of Woodward's Watercolours. Today we're out and about and it is a beautiful day in January, about 12 degrees. This is the Mahee Island, which you'll find in Cumber, County Down in Northern Ireland. And up around here, just behind me, is Nendrum Monastic Site. So I'm going to show you around with a few drone flights, and then we're going to draw and sketch here with the Derwent Inktense Watercolour Pencils. So come on with me and let's explore this area and sketch together. It's an absolutely beautiful afternoon here, and you can see just up in front the ruins of Nendrum Monastic Site, and this is what we're going to be drawing this afternoon. So let's get going. So that's us all set up. We're using the Langton mould made. It's slightly bigger than A3. I don't think it's as big as A4. Brilliant for drawing when you're out and about doing plein air. So it's the Langton Derwent. And today we're using my own bespoke set of the Derwent Inktense, using a variety of colours that really suit the palette that I'm most used to. So I've also got my Faber-Castell sharpener with me. Let me grab it out of my little pocket in my fold-away seat. Little sharpener, best one I've ever used. And then some water brushes we'll use obviously later on once we've got everything drawn down. Now let me see, where are we going to start? I think we'll start with the Payne's grey. So you can see some of the little marks and things are there already. So where I just try to jump in, and we're going to keep it really nice and fluid. Just getting the initial structure down that's in front of us. Now there's this bit over to the right. I'm not sure whether we're going to keep it into it. Now let me see if I can angle this up so you guys are seeing a much better view. Maybe pull it down a bit. Okay, so that's going off a bit into the distance. I like to keep the pencil moving. Now it's all kind of mottled as well, so some of the Indian ink might not be a bad idea at some point. It's this dry stone wall that's lasted for centuries, and then out of it is coming this structure, which was obviously part of the monastery. Maybe make that a little bit taller. So we're drawing the entirety of this structure anyway in the Payne's grey 2110, if you're looking for the code for that one. Okay, and just getting the lintel, that's the lintel of the door. Another nice thing is, because these are really ancient structures, the lines are not exacting by any point, and not that I am wanting this to be exacting either. So just getting this in here, getting all of this information. Now those rocks are bigger and deeper, closer they are towards me. Okay, and then obviously that's where the rubble structure, isn't it interesting? Obviously whenever the point when these break, they're probably much sharper, but then over time, over the weathering, they tend to soften down. Now this is plein air, and it's not freezing cold, but it's not the warmest, so I don't want to take forever. And then we've got this little bit of rock here, just poking out across here. Okay, now, so let's switch to the Indian ink because so much of this structure is really quite dark, and we could do with sharpening that up. Now I'm drawing it at an angle, so there. This is sliding down. Now this is the danger with this sharpener. If you don't open it correctly, then the bits go everywhere. Okay, so I've got it to a really nice sharp point now. There we go. That's it. Now we got just a little bit of shading in here now. Obviously, with the Derwent Inktense, I'm going to be carrying over lots and lots of the ink. Just need to suggest a couple of these. Hi. Oh, you're fine.
I was at a painting class this morning. What are you, pencil?
This is watercolour, Derwent Inktense Watercolour Pencil, yeah.
Pencils, alright.
Yeah, well I do normally watercolour and ink, but these are great for when you're doing plein air stuff, you know.
Yeah.
They just work really well, and they're really strong whenever you put the water on them. They really like you can carry some of the ink off and splat it around and all, so
It's
a good job.
Pencils and then put the water on it.
Yeah. That's how I do it. Yeah, makes more sense to me than like trying to treat them like watercolor pencils, or like watercolor.
Watercolor does my head in,
Oh, does it?
Because it's so slow. I like the acrylic to work fast.
No, well, I find watercolor much quicker, to be honest. Although, it's always about letting it dry, between the layers.
That does my head in.
You'd rather just be able to go for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Good luck.
Thanks so much. Beautiful day, isn't it?
It's cracker. I only started painting about 5 years ago.
Right.
And I love it now.
Oh, that's great. You find for me anyway, my heart rate drops and all with it.
Oh, I find I was out this morning, and I find whenever I started 5 years ago, and then I take these pensioners, but whenever I come out, I'm always freezing. I must put so much energy into the painting, and then I'm freezing. Even though the heating's on.
Oh, it's great. It's great. Anyway, thanks for stopping. Okay, let me see you. So this is where I just lift it up, you see. Now, one of the joys, obviously, of plein air painting is that people are going to stop and come and chat to you. And I absolutely love that. I think that's a really wonderful part of it. So, as you can see, I've moved from the Payne's Grey, and I'm using the Indian ink, and it's 2020. Okay, so we've got now the sky. Also, let me just tip you up to see the sky. Let it adjust there. Look at that sky, isn't that beautiful? So I have to figure out whether I want to try and capture some of that. Now, what I could do with that is take in the some of the ink from here and dot it across, which I may well do. We'll see. I'll have a think about it. Okay, and then this is it's going away from me. Now this actually is much more, I suppose, realistic and than what I would normally do. I find that when I'm doing actual structures like this, they are definitely more, I like trying to capture the actual structure as it is and getting the shape of it and perspectives and things like that. I'm not going to beat myself up if I don't. But whenever it's a more natural scape, it feels like it's less of a priority for me. Okay, so what we're going to do with the grass is I've got some olivine here. And I've got some light olive. So the olivine is 1340 and the light olive is 1540. So let's get some of that in. And they're these little kind of tufts throughout now. Really, that sort of tails off around this area, but comes right up. So I want to try and capture some of these darker areas. Now, what have I got here? Both of these could do with a sharpen. And the lovely thing about this Faber-Castell sharpeners, it does it with like 5 turns, which I've never really found one that would do it that well before, you know. So this is the olivine, which is a bit lighter. And because of this being nice and golden, you look here, I'm tempted to use some of this tone here. Let me check what that is. And it is sienna gold. So we'll see. We'll see. It might mix quite well. So let's continue to, let me move this over a bit so you can all see a good bit better. Now the problem is I can't see as well. This is all about you. Whenever we're painting like this, we want to be able to show you what's going on. I might lift it up a bit. That's a bit better for me too. Just making these kind of short marks, and you know, varying the angle of my hand as well to sort of vary with the grass. There's some trees poking up on that other side, but we're not gonna. Actually, straight through there is just the cloudscape. You know, it's just the skyline, so I'm not gonna be too worried about that. Great thing is about these pencils, you don't have to keep going over and over and over, because you know that they're going to release so much pigment, which I find that with others it just doesn't do it for me. The thing that is interesting to me, I've had some comments in these videos and people have said they don't like the pencil marks, and for me they're the very thing that I absolutely love, is that the pencil marks remain. So isn't it interesting just how we all really do enjoy different things and different qualities about these. Okay, so this is nice and sharp, so I'm going to soften that off a bit. And then there's some really much darker sections there. Okay, so that's what we're going to... Okay, now I want to... Now that's an aquamarine. Have I got any blues? What blues have I got? There we are. There's the dark cerulean. So there's a couple of places where there's just these kind of traces of light. So, and then we're moving into, actually, it's the Payne's grey that's sort of in the sky a little bit. And it is actually sort of going across a bit of a cover. Now, I'm not really wanting to do too much with this sky because some bits are more darker than others, but actually look at these shapes in the sky here. Let me lift you up to see. Can you see over in the just beside the sun on the left hand side there? It's got this kind of a grey dot. Now I'm not overly wanting to try and capture the gold in the sky, you know, too much. Let me actually go over this a little bit, I think. I'll grab my Indian ink one, because it's really very dark on this horizon, and I don't want the, not the horizon, sorry, on the structure. It's really, really dark, so I'm going to try and put down as much as I need, so I'm not going to have to go back into this after. Okay, the other thing that I said that I was going to do was add in some of that sienna gold. I'm tempted to do the Sicilian yellow instead. Just want to see how this goes with the, given that sort of feeling of lightness here. That gold and sunlight is just so beautifully happening. We're heading towards golden hour now. We must be sort of after about 3 p.m. and when you're this high up in Ireland, that's when the magic happens. Okay, that's all I want to do with the pencils. Now this is the bit I absolutely love, when we bring the watercolours in. Now, oh, we're actually dripping, which is good. Now, just keeping nice, and you can see the contrast, the two. Now, did you hear what that lady was saying? I thought was really interesting, that actually it seems to me that most people think that with watercolour pencils, the proper use, and I'm not a fan of, don't think that there is proper use, I think there's common use. But the proper way that you should do it is with somehow, I don't know, using the pencils like a watercolour half pan rather than drawn with them. The way that I use them is I draw first. Just squeezing, releasing some more water. Now, it will give a quite a graphic kind of a quality, I find, with these. Okay. As always, it's going to carry enough for me to do the splats now. And just release the water here. And agitate it enough. Move over for you so you can see. And I'm just going to give a hint of what I've paint here, just in that area, and leave those lines visible too. As I said, that, you know, it's something that I really like about this, that actually the pencil marks remain. Okay, so let's go to town with this grass and see what this grass is going to give. Now, the grass is quite luminous, so I'm not going to be too concerned about that. Squeezing the brush. So that was something I remember we were away on a weekend and someone was really struggling with getting a flow in their the water pen or brush pen, or water brush pen, whatever it's meant to be called, and actually just squeezing it then releases it, forces it down towards the fibres. And using this is where the flat edge brush comes in so helpful, for these kind of areas, because you just need to move it around. Squeezing again to release more, to release the pigment on the Inktense pencil. So I can continue working away at that, and the line work will somewhat disappear, but part of me doesn't understand why you would want to do that, because I think it's a tool for me. Remember what I said about common use over proper use? Now I'll agitate those yellows a bit more, try and get them to, and then I can splat away. So there we are, and we arrive at the conclusion. Nendrum Monastic Site. And there's your last view of what we were drawing. Hopefully you've really enjoyed this video. Isn't this a beautiful place to be? So I was probably out drawn for about 20 minutes. No gloves this time because it's about 12 degrees. But a nice simple sketch, and also using a more, obviously it's an area of architecture, so getting more sort of a likeness to what's in front of me, which was enjoyable. And I really enjoy the bit where you add the water on and use the brushes, and especially those little water brushes are really handy when you're doing something like this. So anyway, as always, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the little bell icon so that you're notified of new videos when they drop. And for more information about me, head to www.woodwardswatercolours.co.uk and you'll find information about private commission, tuition, workshops, and we're actually going in the next couple of weeks to Bath. Toby Sketchless and I are going to be doing that. You'll find lots of information there, and also a portfolio of works and a link to my Etsy store if you like what I'm drawing and painting. So as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Interested to read your comments about this one. Bye for now.